my next installment of ASherms Photo Talk. And this episode, what I'm going to do is I'm kind of going to get into what I call anywhere photography, and only my quotes. But anywhere photography to me is, you know, you're taking a photo or a really great photograph comes out of your everyday activities. That involves, you know, when you go to work, when you go, go to see your friends at the bar, at the cafe, anywhere, just on your everyday routine. It's not necessarily, you're not on a vacation, you're not going out of your way, you're not going to a park to take photos. This is just like you're doing your everyday life, and then it just happens to happen that, oh, I really need to take this photo. So I have a couple tips before we get into what we're going to do. My first tip is always have your camera on you. I find that sometimes you don't want to get into that moment that, oh my god, why didn't I have my camera on me? Which sometimes I have even, fallen into that, where it's like, oh, I was uploading photos the night before and then I left my camera, in my room or something. But always have your camera on you. It doesn't necessarily have to be your big extravagant like expensive camera. Just carry something with you that is comfortable for you to carry around. I mean, I live in New York City, so I always have a book bag on me. I don't necessarily carry around a huge purse or anything like that, but I'm a little bit more sporty in style, but like I always carry my book bag on me, so I always have my camera on me no matter what, if I remember from like uploading photos the night before. But always have your camera on you. And my second tip for you is gonna be, don't be afraid to take the photo, because when you're in your everyday routine, you're gonna come across people who are in their everyday routine. They're not gonna be taking pictures. For example, if I'm walking down the street trying to catch the bus and I just happen to find something that, catches my eye, and some people are gonna be like, why the hell is she taking a photo? And they're gonna be like kind of like looking at you weird. But don't let embarrassment get to you, and don't let pride get to you, and also don't think you're gonna get it again, because you never know. It's never gonna come back again, because I always say, okay, I'll get it in the future, if I don't have my camera on me, or if I'm just kind of in that tense mood where I'm like, oh, people are watching me. But don't ever pass up an opportunity. Don't get embarrassed. Do your thing. Don't worry about what anyone else is thinking about you while you're taking a picture, because you know what? You're probably never going to see them again anyway, so just forget people in general. So always have your camera on you, whatever's comfortable for you, and never pass up the opportunity. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go out to, I'm going to show you this photo I did, and then we're going to go to the location. I'm going to show you it. Going to show you the original photo that I have taken, and how I altered it in the end, and how I kind of made it into what I wanted to make it into. So we're going to head out. So right now I'm going to show you my final photo. And that's pretty much what I ended up with. Now, where we're going now is, I just left my apartment building and we're going down the street, and I actually pass this area all the time. So when we get there, I'll show you guys. This area, I pass it all the time on my way to the subway, and I really, really liked it because of the fence and the trees in the background. I just kept looking at it, and just the brick wall behind it. I just really, really love it. I don't know why, I just did. And I just couldn't pass up a picture. And I'll show you the original photo that I took. It kind of looks something like this. And the way I cropped it in that, and what I did in Photoshop, comes out a little different, but I kind of just express the new style that I have now. I'm experimenting with colors and different Photoshop techniques, and I thought this was a really good thing to kind of experiment with, and it turned out really nice. I mean, I love it. So to get into a little bit about what I did with the photo after I took it, because the first thing you'll notice is that it's horizontal. So the first thing I wanted to do is when you look at it in Photoshop, sometimes you notice it like, oh, it could have been better this way, and it doesn't turn out the way you want it from how you took the picture. So the first thing I noticed, I'm like, you know what, I can probably do something better with this if it was vertical. So that's the first thing I did. I cropped it differently. And then I kind of went back and forth on whether I wanted it just a high contrast colored photo or black and white photo, so I kind of play with that. Like, and that's one thing with Photoshop and messing with photos, is that like play with it. You don't have to do one set thing or have a plan. Just like if you have a plan of action, do it. You don't like it, try something else, go back, do it over. You know, there's not one way to do it. You always define your own style, you know, find your own way and do it. I mean, that's what I do. I kind of, when I'm experimenting with a new style, that's what I do. I like go back and forth, play with it for, you know, not a few hours, but I mean, it just however long it takes when you have, you know, time to do it. So that's the first thing I did, is I cropped it vertically. And then I'm a real big fan of high contrast photos, not super extreme high contrast, but I really do like a deeper black, or you know, just deeper colors, more saturated, just a little bit more than the camera takes for me. So I like more high contrast. So that's the first thing I did. I always go in Photoshop and I mess with my levels, and I figure out what kind of contrast I want. After I do the contrast, I then messing with my studio digital art, like I like to mess with the filter glow. I really like it. I just like, you can pick whatever color glow you want, and then you put that on to the photo, and I'll put links onto really good YouTube tutorials on how to you know, do this all in Photoshop, because I don't think that's my strength. I probably won't be able to like go in Photoshop and do this, you know, screen grafts and all that recording stuff. So I'll post links to really good Photoshop tutorials. So, and then I mess with my color change, my saturation, and the hues. So you know, it's all about kind of like using the wand, selecting certain parts of the photo, and kind of selecting certain things to kind of change the color. And the one thing I did do that I thought was really cool, that I really didn't think I would do, was I kind of made it two different types of photos in it. The title of this photo is Every City Has Two Sides, and I really think it's a really good example of New York City, because everyone comes here for the tourism, but I live in the Bronx, so, and this photo was taken in the Bronx, so it's like everyone sees the Bronx as this like really like rough and tumble, like, oh, you live in the Bronx, it's really unsafe there, this and that, and to be honest, like, it's a really nice place. There's a lot of nice people here. I don't feel so, you know, unsafe like everyone says. So it's like, you know, that's why it's a perfect example of every city has two sides. So that's the title of this photo, and I think the contrast between the two colors, the kind of like, you know, the green and the brown and the kind of like the pinkish and the black, you know, the two different styles that come together, and then how they kind of integrate, is the story behind this photo and how I felt about it. So I'm gonna post some links to more Photoshop, and I hope this has helped someone try and like kind of like play with their style just a little bit more, or possibly trying to experiment. So that was the next episode of ASherms Photo Talk, and I hope it was helpful. Maybe someone will experiment with the, you know, kind of like the thing that I did. Maybe you guys will experiment with, you know, anywhere photography, which, I mean, it's not really like, you know, travel photography, or, you know, all these things have such big names, but, you know, that's my own thing, so maybe I'm like tagging it. But anywhere photography is just an awesome thing to do, because you never know what you're going to fall upon or what you can make out of, you know, your everyday findings. So I hope you enjoyed this week's episode.